Good morning and welcome to the Dr. Baruch Show with Christa, and welcome to the eLife Media Network as we are broadcasting now into our third week. We are 3 weeks old. Woohoo! Woo. Good morning, Christa. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you this morning?
Very well, very well. Listen, I just want to take, I want to shoot out this disclaimer before we get started into the show this morning. You know, I'm one to take responsibility, but for this one, I can't take responsibility. I'm kidding. I know Christa is looking like, what are you about to do? You all know that our conversation primarily is on the subject of health. We talk about health and wellness. We talk about physical health. We talked last week about mental health, right? Mm-hmm. Really good show. We had your friend Tiara. Is it Tiara or Tiara?
Tiara.
Tiara Rich. And we had Dr. Akin Shagun out of St. Croix, who has sent me several text messages and emails and let me know that it is... he was really excited about the show. He's actually given us a couple of other guests that he thinks we should bring on. Yes. So it's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of something that is new and developing. Sometimes it's good to get on something that's already afloat and it's already, got all of its stuff together. But there's another kind of accomplishment. There's another kind of, involvement and satisfaction that you get when you look up and you say, wow, I remember when. Mm-hmm. I remember when. Yeah. So we're going to be able to say that some years from now, right, Christa?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. There it is. That contract just got extended. And some years from now, we're going to be reflecting back on how it all started in the beginning when we were just like, push that button. Okay, we got sound. All right, let's rock and roll. Yeah. Well, how was your week?
It was good.
It was good? You had a good week? Anything memorable that you want to share with us?
Busy?
Come on now. You busy? What you do? You got to be remembering stuff if you was busy now. What were you doing this week that kept you busy?
Gosh, so many things. Let me see. Well, we'll talk about this.
Well, while you think on that, because I could tell you were working. Oh, you were there? You about to give it?
Go ahead.
No, go. Okay, so while you're working on, I'll just say that this week for me was really good energy. You know how sometimes they say it's darkest before the dawn? Mm-hmm. I had some dark moments, but then I had some really bright moments that shine through and let me know that, you know what, this thing is about to pop. And that's just everything. That's just everything. Seemingly that I'm working with not only, of course, the food space, as you and I know, and many of our listeners know, I've got 3 restaurants, but also I'm in this now entertainment space, and I got the weirdest call. Man, I'm sitting at home on Saturday, or was it Sunday morning? It was one of those. I think it was Saturday morning. I get a call from a guy, and we're talking about the industry. We're talking about the music and entertainment industry, and they said, Hollywood is about to go down because everybody's going to do their own thing. Just what you're doing over there at the restaurant, everybody's about to do their own thing. And Hollywood is scrambling, trying to keep its hold on the talent when the talent is trying to figure out how to get out to the people who really pay them anyway.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is exciting. This is a really good time to be active in this space and to hopefully position ourselves in such a way that we will be a player in all of this. And speaking of which, we got some guests that are going to be coming through the studio this evening. For those of you who are DC natives or you've been here long enough to relate to go-go, Man, it's nothing. I don't care how old I get. You put some jungle boogie on some conga drums, and I'm gonna be yeah. Take this IV out. I need to get up. I need to get up and start dancing, because it's just the energy that you get from go-go. So they're going to be here tonight. Absolutely. They've just released a new CD, so they're going to be coming into the studio talking about it. And we also have one of the Braxton sisters. I'm not going to tell you which one, because if I told you which one, then my restaurant might be overloaded with people. But we got a Braxton sister that's going to be coming through. And you know the Braxton sisters grew up in this area. Yeah. We used to see them at the grocery store. Be like, hey, that's one of the, that's her right there. Yeah, that's her. Hi, can I get a picture? But they grew up right alongside of us here. So it's been a really, really interesting week, eventful. Look forward to some really special things going on this coming week. As a matter of fact, starting today with this show, talking about, what are we talking about today?
Relationships.
What about that? Now, you were going to tell us what you did over the week, though. Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you think about that?
I did.
Okay, great. What's up? What'd you do?
I had a few things, but I just wanted to share one.
Okay.
So I think something that's really important that I'm learning in life is to let go of your pride, right? So I've been really searching and looking for a Montessori school for my daughter, a Tyler program, and any moms out there, I understand how difficult it is to find a program for a 2-year-old that will stimulate their mind, and Montessori is a different way of learning through discovery. So I've been searching and looking, and I found a school that I really, really love, and it's diverse. It's because most of the schools out there don't nobody look like her.
Right.
So
that's a problem.
It's a problem. I wanted to make sure that she was exposed, that she was in a diverse environment. So I went and visited the school, and it was great. It was amazing. Tuition was like as much as my college tuition.
That's it.
Like $30,000. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So I started looking for financial aid, and I'm not even going to DC and all of that. But I wasn't able to find anything, so I go on the school's website, and they had a financial aid that they give, but the deadline had passed. Okay, so I just visited the school. Okay, the deadline passed. So let me email the lady and see, because my pride at first was like, oh no, the deadline passed. Don't email the lady. Just get the financial aid yourself and figure it out. But I emailed her, and she was really sweet and told me that they could accommodate her, and they still had money in their budget. So that was really, really great for me, and just promising for me, because I've been totally stressing out about where my daughter is going to go to school. That's a mom moment. And
she's two now, right?
She's 2.
Okay, great. And she's doing well. She's learning.
Excellent.
She knows all the things that you're supposed to know at 2, and you're not struggling with the terrible 2s, right?
Oh. No comment.
That's not called terrible 2s. It's called payback. That's all that is. It's just payback.
Okay.
This is for you not doing me right while I was in your belly. So now you gotta pay back. So you do right, and all of a sudden, you don't have the terrible 2s. I'm gonna talk to you about how you can deal with that with some nutritional supplementation too. But we are talking about relationships today, and I think it's fair for us to before we even get into this subject matter, to one, indicate to our listening audience, our viewing audience, that now, unless you didn't share this with me when I checked over your resume, neither one of us are necessarily absolutely to the nth degree, but then I don't know, but I'm going to say it anyway, just so we have the disclaimer on the front end, and that is that we are not relationship counselors, therapists, and otherwise, as certified by these here United States of America or any other, locale. Is that correct? That's
great. Correct. I am not. Just experienced.
Okay, great. So you experienced. And we're going to talk about that a little bit because, relationship experience. So anyway, so we wanted to talk about relationship because we realized that it's a significant part of our health.
Yes.
Because when you're in a healthy relationship, you know how when when you've gone out to dinner with somebody and it's like, Goodness gracious, I could see myself doing this for the rest of my life. You know, I like the way the person, you know, is. I like the conversation. I like all of it. And you just could see yourself doing that for the rest of your life. On the front end, a lot of times that happens. It's like the euphoria of the honeymoon experience, you know, the first or second date. Because now honeymoons don't last that long because relationships don't last that long. So honeymoons got to come and go, and then you get to the other side.
Yeah.
But tell us, you know, first off, I think it's fair to ask, and I'll have to prepare myself with the same question because I think that's fair too. Are you in a relationship?
No.
What is going on with the world? What is going on with the world?
I'm saying.
Reg, what is going on with the world that, you know, somebody so intelligent, so capable, that ain't gonna last long. I can tell you that now. So you are not in a relationship. Is that by choice? Have you just taken yourself off the grid? You're no longer available? You pulled your dating image and profile off of the dating page? I mean, what? I don't know how it's done nowadays. You know, what did you do? Change your number?
I don't know how it's done either. Apparently they have online dating sites, but I'm old school. I want to meet you in person. I need to know that you're tangible. I don't want to do the online media situation. But I don't know. I'm available. I'm open. I'm present. I'm busy
777-93-11. Just give her a call. You know, she's available. Show up at the studio. You know, folks gonna be coming to the studio next Tuesday. Oh yeah,
goodness.
Is that Krista? Ooh. I'll be like, yeah, that's Krista. No, go ahead. You were in the middle. I'm sorry. You were talking about. So you don't do online dating? Was the pause because there was a moment when you slipped up and went out there and you did put a little something out there just to see what you would get back?
I did.
Okay, that's what's up. Something I can't say. I can't say I've done that.
I did a online, let me say, I did an online dating one time before, and I never ended up meeting the guy.
Oh, okay.
Because all he did was, I had a conversation with you about I don't like text messaging.
Right.
For 4 hours. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
So he wanted to have text message conversations.
Okay.
And I would rather pick up the phone and have a conversation. So I never went out with him.
Oh, okay. So text messaging, is that like, is that the way people do things nowadays?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? That's what's up?
You hook up the date through text message. You talk about your whole life through text message. You send pictures through text message. It's too much. It's too much. Let's get on the phone. Old school.
You send pictures through text messages?
I don't, but people do.
Oh, okay.
I don't. I don't want anybody having my picture out there. I need my own pictures in my own phone.
And you had a picture on your profile, right, when you were on the dating site? Mm-hmm. Was it like really cute?
I guess so.
Oh,
I hope so.
Okay. So you put your best foot forward.
It was a friend of mine. She's like, Krista, just do it. She's like, it's not horrible, I promise. Mm-hmm. She actually met her husband.
Oh wow!
On an online dating site. It's a new era, new generation, and she's like, you got to get with it. You're too old school. Okay. And I tried it for a week, and I didn't like it.
Okay.
So.
Not to get nosy, but you got some hits other than the one hit.
No, I just got one hit.
Well, that's cool.
No, I did. But of course, I responded back to the person that I thought seemed attractive and intellectual, and he seemed like he was a decent guy. So I said, well, let me just send him a message back and get to know each other. But it was I guess he was new era. Media text message conversation.
Well, you got to figure if somebody's going to do a web page or go out and do a profile on a dating site, that's kind of new era too.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because back in the day, DC was so different when I was really young and in the dating space. It was like you couldn't walk 10 steps without seeing somebody that was like, yep, okay. Yeah, and we were friendly. Mm-hmm. You could say something to somebody without them being, ready to curse you out. Nowadays, you can't get much out before somebody gives you that look. Like, one more word.
Don't talk to me.
one more word, sir, and you about to have a problem. So, now you on the dating site, did you go looking?
I didn't. I just set it up. My friend set it up for me, and I didn't really browse through. I actually thought it was hilarious.
Okay.
The messages that people send you, and I mean, it's just hilarious. I mean, I just think it's so funny. People have like misspellings, and
right. Well, tell me this: did you take your profile down?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I deleted
all right.
it.
So y'all can't find her out there. You know,
you can't find me.
You're not going to be able to find Christa out there on the. Yeah. Okay. That's what's up. Well, that's one route, and I guess as I reflect on the way things have changed in the dating space, it almost makes sense because so much goes so quickly now. And as we talk about today on the show, we're talking about relationships, and we're talking about, hopefully our goal for you will be that you'll be able to glean information out of this, that being the listening audience will be able to glean the information out of this that will help you be more successful in the relationship space, in the dating space, and even your existing relationship space. And I'm going to throw a question out there to you, and we can talk about it. So it's not just on you, but what's wrong? What went wrong? What's going on that we just don't have as one of the things that you would think of when you think of you and I, people that look like you and I, which is another conversation because we got to go beyond that now. But what's wrong that we're not having success in our relationships?
That's a good question. I think one of the biggest things for me, and we were just talking about media. I think television. I think magazines, and I think on both sides. For male and a female. I think that we look at television, and so now on television there are not a lot of positive examples of marriage.
Right.
There are not a lot of positive relationships. They're very complicated. And not saying that sometimes there won't be complications, right? That's life. But they're very complicated and abnormal circumstances and situations. And we believe that we should model our relationships behind what we see on television or behind the stars and the celebrities. Well, we can't really see into their life, into their home, what really happens, right. When the doors are closed. So we can't model anything after something that we see on media or on television. I think one of the other things too that we were discussing and talking about, is that there's just a lack of example and models within the home.
Sure.
So people don't see healthy relationships within their home between their parents. And a lot of times there just aren't two-parent households to see that.
Right.
So we grow up, we learn how to be a great mother. Maybe we were raised by a single mom, and as a woman, you grow up and you figure out, okay, this is how to be a great mom. Okay, I know that. But we haven't seen healthy relationships that have lasted 30, 40, 50 years. So I think that has a lot to do with why our relationships aren't working now. We want everything fast, immediately, easy, and we want a false idea of what a relationship really is. We want the image. We want what we see in the media. We want, the woman that looks this specific way. Well, you don't know that on this magazine cover, they edited it. Okay,
right,
so
right.
They took away all kinds of wrinkles and cellulite and shaved the face down and made the body look perfect. And so we're looking at false images, and we're trying to recreate that in our own lives. We're asking these standards, and we're not going deeper past the physical. So, physicality, I mean, that doesn't last. That's fleeting. Beauty is fleeting. But get someone who has some kind of intellect, some kind of passion, some kind of dream, some kind of purpose inside of them, and magic happens. But we can't have that magic if we're trying to build on false images and be like the Joneses.
There we go. So, I hear what you're saying about the images. Does that mean those of us who do have vision and we do have all these other qualities that you think are really significant, which are those elements, which are the glue that hold a relationship together, is there a way to identify ourselves or make it known that we're here and we're different? Should that be that we might play down how attractive we are?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Be yourself. Be beautiful. Be bold. Be attractive. Be handsome. I don't think that you should play down who you are. Say that, be that. But I think that we have to get past, just the surface, just the front door, and we have to really just have a conversation with someone. I mean, just the reality is that 9 times out of 10, you're going to talk to somebody that you find attractive. That's the meeting ground, right? Okay. So you see this person and you say, oh, wow, I think they look attractive to me. So you approach them or you have a conversation with them or whatever. And sometimes it goes the other way around. Sometimes you've just been friends with somebody for a long time and maybe you weren't that attracted to them, but all of a sudden y'all have had conversation and now they're just so amazing. So it just depends.
Yeah.
But no, be yourself. Don't ever shrink back, ever.
Right. Yeah, I think that's important. This is the Dr. Baruch Show with Christa, and we are talking about healthy relationships and the importance of healthy relationships. This is the E-Life Media Network, and we are, again, as I said earlier at the beginning of the show, we're just 3 weeks into this thing, and we're really having a good time. So I just want to let everybody know that tonight, Slick Daddy Rick and Heartbeat and the Heartbeat Congo Hour will be taking place at 8 o'clock. And that's when we're going to get our guests. That's going to be when Rare Essence and the Braxton sister will be here to bless us with their life story, their wisdom, their future, their all the kind of good stuff that they would share on any network, on any show. They're going to share that with us this evening as we continue to grow and expand and blow up. Because that's where we're headed to. We're going to blow up. Again, we're talking about relationships today. If you have a question, a comment, concern, hit us up on Facebook. And you can go to the E-Life Media Group Facebook page and put up your question or comment. We're gonna post information about the show so that you know where to go and where we can have this conversation. We're going to be right back with more of the Dr. Baruch Show, and you stay tuned. on the Dr. Baruch Show. This is indeed an exciting show topic, as we're getting a lot of feedback from people who just want to know what our thoughts are on the subject matter of relationships. I keep forgetting that the cameras are still active as we make sure I'm on here. the cameras are still active and the volume can still be heard. So we have to be careful sometimes. Our conversation, as we were trying to put it together, where we would go from here. And then I realized, oh, there's some folk out there that could hear us. But we're talking about relationships. This is, again, the Dr. Baruch Show with Christa, and we are here at the eLife Media Network, brand new, 3 weeks old. We're just getting it going, and folk are excited, and I'm excited, and we're learning, and we're building, and we actually took a picture for those of you who want to know what Christa looked like. She thought I was just taking like a picture for the station, but I was really taking a picture for all those people out there that wanted to know, well, who is this so-and-so? Talking about thus and such. So she is now on Facebook, and she does have a profile image, not a profile like a page, but there's a profile image. We were talking earlier about the fact that we're going to have a weight loss show, and we want to feature her. And I don't want to harp on it because we're talking about relationships, but Christa is indeed, one of those who always, you work, you find yourself in a cycle that every year you're working to try to get fit for the summertime so you can look good. And it starts out as a bikini, then it's a one, whatever that thing is called. And then you find yourself in a leotard with a shirt on, But we're having a good time. We're talking about relationships. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to know about your success in the area of relationships. But I think we had some questions.
I'm going to ask some questions now.
My fault.
Testing. I'm not on.
Let me go and make sure that I post this picture
I don't think
right.
my mic is on. Is my mic on?
Is your mic on? Yes, it's on.
It is?
It is on.
I can't hear myself.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
You
great.
want more volume on your?
No.
Okay, because I can hear you.
I can't hear myself.
Okay.
So, Dr. Baruch.
Are you talking into the mic, though? Because that makes a difference.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you really well now.
Okay, great.
There you
Fantastic. So great. So we're talking about relationships, healthy relationships. So I want to know, Dr. Baruch, are you dating? Are you in a relationship? Are you single? Are you what are you, brother?
Okay, great. Well, I feel like I'm at the club and I'm sitting at the bar and I had a drink and somebody just walked up on me and, hey, are you single? Yeah. As a matter of fact, I am. And I don't have a profile page up on any dating site that I put up. Okay. Now, there might be some up there, but I didn't put it up. Somebody might be using my image for whatever benefit they might derive from that, but it won't be my doing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that I would ever have to do something like that, only because I'm exposed to so many really, 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 really nice people. And because in the restaurant space you run into people every single day, and because my niche in the restaurant space is vegan, and because I'm a vegan, and because that's kind of one of the qualifiers that I have for even entertaining the idea of being in a relationship with somebody, that they be vegan, it's a great spot to just sit here and cherry pick from who walks through the door. But that doesn't happen. But it would be a great spot. It would be a great spot. Okay. So to answer your question or questions. No, Christa, okay. I'm not in a relationship.
Okay, and so you cherry pick. So that means that you pursue.
I can say when the wind blows and the energy in the universe is synchronized and it's all things are in the right position. Sometimes I'll notice that, wow, just like I said earlier, you look at somebody and you have a conversation with them and you say, wow, I wonder what that would look like and how that would be in 30 years, or, what that experience would be like, So you sure, I'm a visionary and I think ahead, and I'm always considering, why did the universe need to put this fine sister or this intelligent sister or this cultural sister or this really intelligent, health-minded individual in my space? And so, yeah, I'm open. I'm open to the idea, and I'm excited.
So you didn't answer my question. Do you pursue?
Do I pursue? Can you give me an example of pursue?
Okay, so let's say you see someone. Let's see, you see a cherry over there, like you said before, cherry picking, and she's beautiful, and you just can't pass up the opportunity to just say something to her. Do you do that, or are you more, if we meet in the universe kind of brings us together and the energy is right? Or do you say, oh wow, she's stunning, I just want to have a conversation with her?
You know, I I would say both.
Okay.
There are times when I used to have this theory, you know, if I see you twice, like especially like in the same day or whatever, then I know that I was supposed to do something that I didn't do. And so I would definitely pursue, hey, excuse me, ma'am, I'd introduce myself and I would explain that, I couldn't help but notice that we kind of crossed paths twice today, once over at the whatever, and now you're here as well. And that's kind of interesting. You don't find that happening quite frequently. And you then, you say, well, that then is the justification for me pursuing this conversation of getting to know you better. Is that reasonable? And most times the response is, okay, sure. I don't, I'm not in a relationship. Sure, I can. I'm open to connecting, or at least getting to know someone. And that's kind of when I pursue. But otherwise, it'll be me in a space, and I kind of see, and somebody sees, and we kind of see again, and then we see. And that's, I'm going to segue. I'm going to, do a little segue for a minute. That's kind of one of the reasons why we look at people. We look at people to see whether they look back. You're looking, and you're like, did you look back? Oh, you ain't look back? Oh, forget you, because you missed out. That's your fault. You missed out.
You do that?
No, I didn't do that. I wouldn't do that. That didn't sound like a testimony, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I don't do that. I would say that I in my home turf, I don't do a lot of pursuing. I engage, I talk to people, and when I see that it has the potential to go someplace else, I'll engage further, but I'm not aggressive.
Okay. Maybe that was my question. Okay. Are you the aggressor?
Okay. So, I mean, I can't. If a whole lot lines up, then yeah, I'm gonna be aggressive. I'm gonna be like, whoa, this one doesn't need to get away because I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I can be.
Mm-hmm. And so, do a lot of women approach you?
No, and it's a really interesting thing.
Really?
A lot of women do not approach men. I knew why years ago, and I actually know why today, and I'll explain. But when I used to be active in a cultural community, I knew why your contemporary woman was not interested in talking to me, and that was because her thing was based on the modern way of us relating to one another, that I did not fit the model, and therefore a woman would be intimidated by the fact that, oh man, I got to learn all this spiritual stuff, and I got to learn all this culture, and I got to wear a dress like he wants me to wear a dress, and I ain't trying to do all of that. So I knew that there was some barriers, there were some impediments to me having a successful interaction with contemporary, just women in the area. However, there were those that were cultural and could relate, and they would already know that, wow, I don't have to have a conversation about diet. I don't have to conversation about health. I don't have to have a conversation about spirituality. I don't have to have a conversation about so many things. I'm already past all of that. All I got to do is know that you cool, I'm cool, and we can move forward. Mm-hmm. So there were some benefits there. But what I did is I started noticing that the number of people that were approaching me was kind of increasing. And I said, I do this thing around projects. Every time I start a project, I let my hair grow. My hair on my head and my facial hair grows. So I was letting my hair grow, and I noticed the numbers were going down. Like, people were like, oh, daddy, I'm not trying to, talk to you. So I said, oh, yeah, I wonder whether there's a correlation between me letting my hair grow and getting this response. And I found it to be true. That there were people who would just be like, oh, okay, you seem nice, you're nice for, a mister or whatever, an old dude or whatever. And I'm like, wow, okay, so that's interesting. So I was able to repel maybe some of the unwanted already. They were unwanted already. I was able to repel some of that energy just by the way I presented myself. And see, back in the day, I wouldn't even wear a suit. I would always be wearing cultural attire. And cultural attire would translate into the minds of most as, oh, I can't get with a Muslim. You know, I can't get with a Muslim because everything that was cultural was Muslim. So I was like, okay, so that kind of protects. So when I stopped wearing that as much, you know, it was the beard and it was the long hair, and it was like, I don't get that. I can't get that. I can't. So it kind of protected me, and I think it's good that it protected me because I think we all like attention. You know, we all like, you know, when somebody finds you, you know, attractive enough to the right attention, but. Yeah, the right attention. Because some attention is like, oh, my God, could you please keep looking? Could you please, like, get a phone call? Could my phone please ring so I can have a reason to step out of this conversation? So you're right. Are you finished with your question, or did you have some more? Oh, you had some more. Okay, well, let's hear what your next question is.
We're going to get a little personal.
Oh, okay.
When I guess you can go back in the day. When would you say...
are you dating me? I mean, are you like dating me, not dating me in the sense that we're dating, but are you trying to date me like I've been here since like the 40s?
No, I'm not trying to date you.
Oh, okay.
I'm just maybe I said you got to go way back. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
I'm just asking, when was your first date? Or when was the first time that you consider you were going out on a date?
I went out on a date when I was actually, and believe it or not, you probably can't relate to this because you youngsters, you know, you all probably start dating at like 9. I went on my first date at 16.
Me too.
At 16, I went on a date, and I would say her name, but I don't want to say her name, and then I get a text message or a phone call and be like, don't be putting my business out there. My husband and I are going to counseling already. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, let's not do that. But yeah, I went on a date, and we went to a movie, and I tell you one thing that you never do I didn't get a lot of chances to do anything because it wasn't many times that I went out on a date before I decided I had found the woman I was going to marry. But you go on a date with another couple, and the other couple is like far advanced, and they're like in a space that you aren't comfortably going to get in with this woman or this young lady at that point. And it's like, could y'all chill out for a minute? I mean, could you include us in something?
Lovey-dovey.
Yeah, and you're like, y'all can't do that to us, you know. So it became it was an unbalanced situation because they were like all over each other, and it's kind of like, hi, my name, yeah, and yours? Oh, okay. They really, and it became the focus of our conversation. Wow, they really must miss each other, you know. But yeah, so it was at 16 that I first went out on a date.
Okay.
How about okay, I'm gonna let you finish because I'm gonna load up some nice ones, and that will not be one of them.
Okay, so I'll say my last question.
I'm at the end. Good.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
I think something that is really important for me personally is being equally yoked.
Okay, that's what's up.
With a person. And so that just means that you have some non-negotiables that you all agree on. You have some basic foundational things in your life that you both are in line with. You're on the same wavelength with that. And so I just want to know, you know, what are some non-negotiables for you? What are the things that you really are like, okay, that's a must in dating. I'll just say dating a person because, you know, well, all dates don't lead to relationships, but I think that it's important to not waste your time for me personally. So what are some non-negotiables?
Well, I think probably the biggest and obvious one is you're going to need to eat a really clean and healthy diet or be so close to it and so agreeable and so desiring of consuming a really clean and healthy diet that I would be like, yep, okay, great, I can do this. And it used to be more critical for me. I can tell you it was a lot more critical for me back in the day because I was really on the market to bring more children into the world. And I can't say that I'm off the market. Most people would think, oh man, look, what? What? I'm gonna have one of them families where it's like my son is what, younger than his nephew, right? One of those families where you had a family reunion. Yeah, that's my uncle right there.
That's my uncle.
He's 2 years old and you 20. How'd that work out? Yeah, Daddy was,
still having babies.
That's right. But so that was one of the precursors. I was like, and it still is that I'm not interested because I talk so much about health and wellness. I do so much to even maintain my own health and wellness. That's got to be a precursor. That's got to be a requirement. Are you healthy? And do you understand that one of the major reasons why so many of us are unhealthy is because of our diet? And therefore, or as a result of that, are you eating healthy? And I even have to go beyond just being vegan, because vegan, yes, but are you even healthy within the vegan? Because some of us are unhealthy within the vegan space, and that's just, that's unacceptable as well. I think we should really be working on maintaining health and wellness inside of the body, because I think that says something about a person's mind, a person's spirit, a person's vision for themselves. Because I have a vision for myself being here, at least another 100 years. And that being the case, I know I have to do the work today, because you don't just end up getting 100 years because the day before 100 you really did well. No, you got to do that work way before then so that you have the capacity to, last that long, if you will. So, yeah, that was, and I would say there are probably some others. And it's not that I dislike, anybody, but I would say, my desire would be that I would find a woman who is of my ethnicity. And that would be my preference, and has been, all that I've ever done. And I think that has been important to me. Something else would be, intellectualism is cool. I like somebody who's really smart, but they don't have to be. I think because I'm a business owner and I own a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of stuff that's going on in my life, sometimes it's not necessarily how smart you are, but how much you're, a ride or die kind of chick, right? It's like, I'm with you, whatever. You waking up at 6 and going to bed at 2, I'm with you, whatever. I'm going to be there. I'm going to help you. I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to support you. I'm going to make sure the food is here. I'm going to make sure whatever. The good thing about me and food and somebody preparing food for me is they really don't have to do a lot of that, because I'm in the restaurant space. I can imagine if I was like an engineer, I'd be like, you can't cook? Oh, boy. Well, this isn't how am I going to eat? I got to go to, Baruch's restaurant if I'm going to eat then. So I would say somebody who really I feel like is going to be with me, because my life isn't always going to be, it's not always going to be easy, and it hasn't always been easy. So those people that have been with me and that can go with me through the challenging times and also ride the waves of the successes, that's kind of like what I'm looking for. Did that meet your expectation? I mean, did that answer your question?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just checking. I just wanted to check to make sure. And that was your last question. So now we can go into, my questions. Is that cool?
Sure.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. So, you're just a tad bit younger than I am, and that being the case, there's a really good chance that you probably haven't been in a relationship as long as, some of my long relationships that I've had. What's been your track record? What kind of length have you been able to maintain a relationship? When you were out there and you were dating and available.
5 years.
5 years. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's a pretty good look. I would say you'd have to multiply that by 4 for me, but again, I come from a different, cloth, and there was a different thought process with regard to relationships when I was growing up, and that is you find a woman that you're going to marry. I knew the other guys that were saying I ain't getting married till I'm 30, but when I was like, nah, I'm gonna find a woman I'm going to marry, and then we gonna hook up, we gonna make this thing work, we gonna build. And my next question is, as you reflect on, you said it earlier about the can't stands and must haves. what are some of the red flags? You spoke to me, you asked me the question about compatibility, or you asked me about evenly yoked. What are some of the things that you just know off the bat, the minute somebody says, does, looks like, or whatever, or has this in their history, you already know, okay, I have just turned completely off. I'm going to stay here. We're going to finish, this dinner. I'm going to stay here, but know that this will be the last time that you will ever see me in your life, in this type of
your life,
setup.
ever.
Ever, right. So what's that?
Few things, but I'll just say I'm a conversationalist. I'm a communicator. Okay. I love to communicate. That is my love language. So I really am turned off by somebody if we are having dinner and you pick up your phone 10 times and oh yeah, can you hold on for 1 second? Yeah, let me just get, because that's like, I'm real busy with this one thing. Let me get this real quick. No, that is definitely a turn off for me. If you're not that busy. No one's that busy. If you don't have an hour of your time to spend to just focus on me and get to know me and have a conversation with me, then I'm not interested in that. I don't buy that anyone is that busy. They can take the time to, sit down, have a conversation with you.
That's it. So if at any point in time that we would ever go out, then I would just have to leave my cell phone in the car then, because that's a continual thing. As somebody that's involved in so much, there's always, so-and-so didn't show up to work. Oh, the inspector's here. Oh, can you sign these checks? Oh, and I'm just like, oh my goodness.
You got to learn how to balance.
I do.
Dr. Baruch.
I do.
You got to learn how to balance. You have to learn how to, this is relationship time. This is business time. This is, and so all of them have to marry to be a whole person.
Yeah. I agree. And I could say that I'm probably not that whole person in that I don't have that work and family or work-life balance. Yeah, it's I don't have that, but I happen to really enjoy the work that I'm doing. I really enjoy, feeding and helping people understand the purpose and the reason why I even went into the business of what I'm doing. So I like that. So it's really enjoyable. But I would say that that is key, that somebody know how to and puts that kind of energy into you when they're in your presence. We're on the Dr. Baruch Show, and actually I'm being interviewed, strangely enough, on my own show by Christa, who is my co-host, and we're talking about relationships, and we're talking to two people here today who happen to, I don't want to give away any answers that I haven't been asked, so I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to just say that we're talking about relationships. And we're on the eLife Media Network, and I just want to give you all a heads up on some other shows that we have on our network before we take a momentary break and let you all listen to some music and load up your questions on Facebook or whatever. We got the Roland Grimes Show with LaTanya Mosley. I think he calls it Beauty and the Beast, and that was last night from 7 until 9 p.m. We also have Dr. Zamaya up on it with Dr. Zamaya, and she brings on people as she is, I believe, a clinical psychologist or psychiatrist, and she talks about things that we need to know with regard to how the brain works and how we work so that we could work better together. We got the Dennis Green Show, and Dennis is on Sundays. He has a gospel program, which is pretty hip, and it's one way to kind of smooth out the afternoon as you're transitioning out of your spiritual experience in the morning. He keeps you going through the afternoon. We also have the Afro District with Brother Julian as he brings on folk from the continent and has them talk about what's going on, not only there in their specific countries or regions that they come from in the country, but also what's going on with their people here. Again, this is the Dr. Baruch Show with Christa. We're going to be right back in just a minute. You all stay tuned. Right, welcome back to the Dr. Baruch Show with Christa, and we are really having a good time. We're having a good time not only on the air, but we're having a good time after we get off of the air when we talk about what we're going to talk about and how excited we are about talking about relationships, because I think it's probably one of the most critical issues in our community. We look up today, and health is definitely a critical issue.
Yeah.
You know, relationships are definitely a critical issue. Finances are definitely a critical issue. But when we go back to health, you know, how does health, when you talk about, okay, so the 4 areas that I think are really critical are spirituality, health, relationships, and finances.
Yeah.
Now, where does health, or what does health have to do with all those other ones? You know, and what, what does relationships have to do with the others? And maybe let's just focus in on what relationship, the impact that relationship success or failure has on your health. Yeah,
definitely. I think it's directly it directly correlates. It's they go hand in hand. And it's something that I think we often don't think is important. We don't think that stress can cause us to have disease in our body, or if this relationship is stressful or it's toxic, that it can cause us to really develop some serious ailments over the years. It may not happen immediately, but you might find out that later on down the road, this is what happens. So I'm gonna get a little personal.
Okay.
My 5-year relationship that I was in the beginning, it was absolutely amazing and great, right? Because you saying something, but once you get to a certain point and you're like, okay, wait, I thought this person was gonna be my husband, and you know, we have a child together, and you begin to see things in a relationship that you don't desire, and it becomes toxic. And it's not that you're a bad person or they're a bad person, but it becomes toxic. Shortly, I shared my testimony, my story some weeks back. Yes. And I was diagnosed with cancer, and I was pregnant with my daughter, and so one of the things that Dr. Watkins, when I first went to him as a patient, he asked me, what was happening in your life during that time?
Yeah, absolutely.
And at first I was like, oh, well, you know, I was doing this and this. He said, no. What relationship were you in? What were you doing physically? What your career? What were you doing in your career? What were you doing? How were your friendships? All of these things correlate. And I told him, I was like, I was in a really toxic relationship that I was trying to get out of. And it's so amazing, because I think that I always will look at and ask women, what you mean you're trying to get out of a relationship? Like, just get out of it and leave and move on. But when you've invested your time and your energy into something and it's been a while, it's harder to leave. It's easier to say, okay, well, maybe we can work through this. Okay, I know that we may not see everything on the same page. Now, if someone's physically abusing you, leave. Okay, I'm not condoning that. But I'm saying, I was in a space of like, well, maybe we can make this work. And one of it was stressing me out. It was super stressful. And I think that was part of disease being able to take root in my body. And so I think it's super important, who is pouring into your life? What is pouring into your life? What are you consuming into your spirit, your heart, your mind, everything? All of that correlates, to good health. And so, just being happy, being positive. There was a study that was done, and they did it at the at St. John's in New York. Okay. It was a study, and there were some cancer patients that they had, and these patients got the same treatment. They had the same exact disease, right? So the ones that healed the fastest and they lived longer, they were ones that had really positive spirits, positive people around them, really positive people pouring into their lives and covering them. And they were very spiritual, they were very connected, and they were very optimistic about their life, right? And just the possibilities that awaited them. And then they had a study with another group of people who were very negative. They really didn't have a lot of family support. They really didn't have a lot of people around them and being positive in them and pouring into them. And so these people, a lot of them, they either passed away or they didn't live as long as the ones they didn't heal as fast as the ones who had positive influences in their life. And so when you're on a health journey, it's so important that all of the things in your life that you can control around you are positive and they're healthy and they're adding to your overall health. There was also a Japanese man. I can't remember his name. Gosh, what is his name? It's on YouTube. He did a study and he had a bowl of rice. He put it in water. He had another bowl of rice, put it in water. One bowl of rice, he told every day I love you. The other one, he told I hate you. The one that he told I hate you turned black. The other one was still white and vibrant.
Dr. Emoto,
yes. And that really just goes to show that if we have toxic, unhealthy relationships in our life, it can affect our health, our physical health. It totally affects our mental health, our spiritual health, our emotional health, but it can really affect our physical health. And you wonder why you're having headaches or heart palpitations or all kinds of things happening, and it's directly related to this unhealthy relationship that you have in your life. So yeah, that's my spiel.
Well, I think it's important that we understand that everything is energy. So everything being energy, we have to conclude at some point that, okay, energetically, there's certain food that gives life. There's certain food that doesn't give life. There's certain foods that benefit us. There's certain foods that don't. There's certain TV and radio programming. There's certain videos. There's certain movies that benefit us. There's certain ones that don't. They're considered toxic. And likewise, people. There's certain people that are toxic. There's certain ones that are not toxic, and we benefit from our interaction with them. Sometimes it's a balance. Sometimes you got to know when to let go. Okay, I could see they're about to go into that space, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them go. It's just like, I don't believe in this concept of everything in moderation. I believe good things. I believe we should all be consuming good things. Nothing bad in moderation is good for us. Whether you do it in moderation or not, it's still bad for you. So I would say that being that we are comprised of all of this energy inside of us, much like what Dr. Emoto did with the rice, that because energy does cause a reality to manifest itself in this physical realm, that you wanna stay away from that which is toxic, that which is which brings your spirit and energy down. And I think that's important. I just thought about the fact that I had sent out some surveys, although my survey would probably need to be adjusted considerably. So I'll tell you what I'll do. Rather than go through, because my question was kind of like, what is the most repulsive kind of relationship, or what is the thing that you like the least as far as a woman of color when you see certain scenarios. But I don't want to go into that. I just want to say that, I'll be sending that out again. That survey I'll send out again. And I'll word it differently so it's not offensive. I got a response back and somebody said, it's kind of offensive. It makes it seem like my lifestyle is offensive to people, and that's offensive to me. Because and I think the person was right, that we should not necessarily judge somebody else's relationship, if they've chosen to be in that. If you want to feel a certain way about it, you can feel a certain way, but don't necessarily call it offensive or negative or bad. But I would also, we were talking about how relationships affects other elements. And I would say also with regard to our finances, our financial health many times can contribute to a healthy, strong relationship. And likewise, our financial health can be impacted by an unhealthy relationship. Mm-hmm. And, is it true that when a woman gets upset, she needs to go out and shop? Just to kind of get it off, to blow some steam, to take some pressure off of her and put it on him because he's the one who's paying the credit card bill. I mean, I'm just saying, is that how that works?
No.
No, it doesn't work that way. Not with you. Not with
you. We're gonna have a conversation.
Oh, okay. We're gonna talk about that.
Let's talk about this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. I'm a communicator. 100%.
Okay. Talk to me.
That definitely bothers me. With all these, we have all these coping mechanisms, right? All these things that we do to try to cope with however we're feeling. If we just learn to talk about whatever it is that we're feeling, let's just and one thing I have to realize is that everyone doesn't communicate the same way.
Right.
And so we have to learn how they communicate. Maybe they need 5 minutes to just cool off. Mm-hmm. And then you can have a conversation. But I think that it should always be brought to the table. You should always have a conversation. You should always bring out what's happening, what's going on, and try to come when everyone's calm. Not have a conversation when we're arguing, because nothing productive happens when you're both stressed out and hot and having a conversation. You should calm down, think about what you want to say, and then talk about it. Mm-hmm. Because going out, you just hurting both of y'all, hurting both of your pockets. If you go out and max out the credit card,
right?
It's not helpful.
So you sound like you may have read the book, The 5 Love Languages.
Yes.
Yes.
I have. I love that book.
And you might have gotten wind of the book, Mastering the Art of Love.
You know what? I want to read that book, but I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't read that book.
Well, and sometimes I can tell you how it has been with me. I have actually said to people, read these 2 books, and then let's see, whether we can go forward. Because if we don't have the same foundational understanding of how we are going to relate to one another and build, and then chances are, we're not going to be able to go anywhere. But I think that's important, doing some reading, and then talking about what you've read and how you feel about it, and which, with the 5 love languages, which one are you, so that we understand how to communicate with one another.
Love. So
you have read the book, and which one are you then?
Well, I'm definitely a communicator. I like gifts.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What am I? Those are my top 2.
Okay, so bring a gift home and communicate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how important, with regard to communication, how important is it that a person be honest with you?
That's number 1.
Number 1.
That, I mean, we can't go anywhere if we don't have the honesty.
Okay.
Down pat. That's a
key.
deal breaker.
Okay. And what about a history? So when you run into people now, you're not 20 anymore, where people had no history or very little history, or any history that they had was just some crackerjack box relationships that were really not going to go anywhere, but they were just doing something, trying to experience this thing so they knew what it was like. So now that you're a little older and you're talking to people, how important is it for you to know their history?
It's super important. I think it's it helps me know what you come from, where you've come from, what you've experienced in your life. I have a history. It doesn't mean that it's negative or positive. It's yours. It's your history. It's what's helped mold and shape you, the good things and the bad things, into who you are. And so, I'm not judgmental on your history at all. So
you probably are. There probably are some things where you'd be like, "You did what?"
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, there
You
probably
right
some
there. There's
things.
some
that get into-
things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in the realm of things, most people, I'm not gonna put things out there because I don't want to
Right.
judge anybody. But there are probably some things that I would say, okay.
Like a man who has a history. Well, I've been in 4 or 5 different relationships, and I beat up all the women. It'd be like, oh,
Yeah, okay. That's
well,
wow. You
yeah.
chose to tell me that. I'm so glad you did.
well, you would want him to tell you that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I
yes.
definitely would because we would not go on another date.
That's it. And you wouldn't need to ask like why, right? Like
No.
Why did you do this?
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
That's it.
All right.
That's it. Have you ever had to end a situation like really abruptly, where you're communicating or talking or interacting with somebody and you just were like, oh, this is a definite deal breaker. I am done. And they're kind of sitting there like, well, what just happened?
Yes. I
Yeah.
have.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I have. I don't. I'm a little ashamed of it because I was young.
Oh, okay.
I was young. I was probably 19, but I asked my friend back then. You would tell your friend to like call me and say I have to go somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And I had to abruptly end this conversation.
What about you? Have you ever been in a situation where something has like what just happened? I don't understand. Where did he go? Like I was really feeling this. I was vibing and we were really connecting, and now he doesn't take my phone calls.
Yes.
Not you.
Yeah.
Not you. That didn't happen to you.
Absolutely.
What was somebody's problem that they would want to cut you off? I know what it is. It's because you have such high standards and they realize that they couldn't meet them. And they were like, I don't even feel like fighting this one. So
I don't know. I think he was just a free spirit. How are you? I think he was just a free spirit, and I was in college.
Okay.
I was probably 18, and he was a break dancer, and just kind of like a really free spirited kind of guy. And I thought he was kind of cool. I was like, oh, he does this, and he has locks, and oh. But no, he kind of was just one of those. I think we dated a month.
Okay.
And it was over.
It was over. Mm-hmm. And so is it safe to say at some point in your life, in your relationship experience, you've had your heart broken?
Absolutely.
Wow. Not you. I don't get it. I don't get it how this is like the story for everybody. Everybody's got that heartbreak story.
Yeah.
And so then I would lead that leads into another question that I have. And I'm sorry if I'm asking you a lot of questions, but you're a communicator, so let me have it. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me? Probably a lot of things, but
come on now. What if I talk to somebody who you dated?
What would they say is wrong with me?
What would they say? Oh, sister girl.
They would say that I can be aggressive.
Oh, okay.
I tend to want things a certain way.
Okay.
I won't say aggressive. Maybe I'm not compromising all the time. Maybe I don't compromise on some things.
And you're not a Taurus. You're a Gemini, right?
I'm a Gemini, but I'm on the cusp.
Oh,
so
Lord have mercy. Go ahead.
I'm a Gemini. So, but I think that.
I'm rubbing my head for a reason, y'all. But go ahead.
So I have a really great relationship with my dad.
Okay,
that's
good.
my dude.
That's important.
First man that ever loves you. It's so important that just teaches you how you should be treated. And my dad has always treated me as a princess, and now a queen, and just I'm super close with my dad. So I when I come into a relationship with a man, I'm not interested in somebody being my dad, you know. I think men believe a lot of times what we look for as women is I want, you know, pay the bills, you know, keep the car running, cut the grass, you know, all these stereotypical things. And then, you know, we're good. But it's so much more to developing a relationship than just it's so many more ways to provide. I'll say as a man, you know, they talk about man being the provider and head of your household. It's so many more ways for him to provide for you. He can provide love. He can provide compassion. He can be nurturing. So I would say the one thing is I definitely was a little selfish, maybe a little controlling. I'll say just because I think things should be done a certain way. And sometimes, so that's why I think the non-negotiables are so important. The foundational basics are so important, because if you start dating outside of that, then you come into problems, because then there are certain things that you just don't think are important in a relationship.
Right.
So for me, I would try to change or fix that person. Okay, well, you don't see how I see it. Well, then, you know, this is what you need to see. So let me try to change that and control the situation, and, you know, tell you this is how you should make it happen. So I didn't let oftentimes a man just be a man and, okay, well, he does it that way. That's okay. You know.
So you don't have. I mean, you're not like 6 feet tall. So is there a chance that you have a Napoleon complex?
Really? No, I didn't.
You don't have that. You don't walk in the room with a stick and beat it on the table. Look, this is how it's going to be, and that's just how it is. No, you don't.
No, I desire a man in a relationship to take the lead. I want you to pick the restaurant. I want you to take me out. I want you to, you know, surprise me. Tell me what we're gonna do. I love that. I think that's awesome. The problem comes therein when I think that's not a good idea, or it's not something that I enjoy or like. And
so then would you understand why the man would say, well, next time, why don't you choose where we're going to go?
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely understand that. But
because the man is probably more than likely going to just go with whatever you want to do. Like, you know, okay, you want to go to the movies tonight? Okay, let's go to the movies. You want to go to dinner tonight? Which restaurant? Okay, that's where we'll go. Because when I make my mind up where I want to go, and then you don't like where I want to go, then it's like, well, why didn't you just do this in the first place so we wouldn't have to go through all of this?
Yeah.
Does this sound familiar? You like reminiscing. I saw you looking at me like, Robert. No, it's not Robert. It's me. No, but okay. So I talked about the challenges and also some of the strategies and the way that we go about, you know, pursuing a relationship. When we come back, I want to ask you. Well, I'm going to ask you the question now, and the question is, what kind of relationship balance do you require? Is it a 100%? And what I mean by that is okay, I'm going to find a man that's doing, being, and is where I want him to be, and I'm just going to attach myself? Or are you a 50-50 kind of person? And we're going to talk about that when we come back. So don't you forget, because I might forget. So don't you forget, that's the question that we're going to dive into when we get back. Again, this is the Dr. Baruch Show with Christa, and we are talking about relationships today, and we are all learning. And this is on the eLife Media Network. We've got a bunch of good stuff that you all should know about. Let me throw on my goggles here so I can tell you about it. We've got the Glory Gang coming in on Friday night. That's Friday night from 7 until 9 p.m., and again, it's just an open conversation with some folk that know a little something about a little something, and they speak to it from a Christian perspective. Then we got DJ Drew comes on right before them, the Rush Hour, and DJ Drew puts it down. He's really good at DJing and putting the kind of energy out there. He, if there's ever a sound that's appropriate for this audience, he's got it worked out. And so if you're in the area, or you don't even have to be in the area because we're all over, you can tune in to the eLife Media app on your Google Play, on the Google Play Store, or on Amazon, or you can go to the TuneIn app and download that and go to the eLife Media channel, where you will have access to what it is that we're doing. Also, if you missed it last night, Haki Ami, the Success Scholar, was on from 8 until 9 p.m. last night. And I will be on tomorrow, as we will be talking to some folk about what's going on in the realm of entertainment and also in the realm of history. It's the Not On My Watch show with Dr. Baruch tomorrow at 11 a.m. We're going to be right back with more of our program today. I am really enjoying this conversation. I'm learning a lot. I think this is a great way. I think it's a great forum that we all need to take more advantage of, and that is, let's just talk about what we're doing as opposed to just doing it and possibly making mistakes and not necessarily getting the results that we'd like to get. Let's start talking about it, because there is a way that we could do this and be successful and be on the same page. We're going to be right back with more of the Dr. Baruch Show. You all stay tuned. Back with the Dr. Baruch Show with Christa. And today we are talking about relationships and health, and how health impacts relationships and how relationships impact health. So let's jump back in. I had a question, but before we jump back in completely with my question, we need some motivation.
Motivational moment.
There it is. And Christa, who is our on staff, motivator, is going to motivate us. I'm always motivated when I'm here doing the show. So we're going to jump in now and get the motivational moment. Go.
Motivational moment. Okay. All right. So today for the motivational moment, I just wanted to give a few quotes about love, since we're talking about relationships and dating. And so I will say that we, in a relationship and dating, we have to start with ourselves. It has to be self-love. We have to begin there, because if we don't have that, then we're going into a relationship looking for someone to sustain us in that area, and that is impossible to ask a person to help you love your own self. So one of the quotes, I'm gonna do a few quotes because I couldn't
I'm writing
pick.
them down.
So the first quote that I wrote down is, "A flower cannot blossom without sunshine, and man cannot live without love." And that was Max Molnar that said that. And I love that. Just like a flower they need sunshine, and I say they need some rain too. So you need some things that happened in your life that probably weren't always so happy. Some rain so that you can blossom and grow and evolve. And so relationships need that. They need some rain. They need some sunshine. Can't live without love. We all need love. We all need people. We need to be loved. And then Oscar Wilde, I love Oscar Wilde, said, "Keep love in your heart. A life without it is like a sunless garden when the flowers are dead." So always have it in your heart. Share it with other people, and allow that to kind of illuminate offer you this energy of love. And sometimes you don't even have to say anything to somebody, but just happy and you just sharing your love and your light with the world, and people pick up that energy. And like we talked about earlier, energy is so important. Right. And then this is the last one. Francis Assisi's, he said, Lord, grant that I might not so much seek to be loved as to love. And I thought that was so profound, because I think in life we're always looking to oftentimes be served. We're looking for somebody to do something for us. And really life is about service, about giving and giving out the love. And so when you give that, it'll come back to you. The universe, it always comes back full circle. So what you give will come back to you. That good energy, that love that you give out will come back. So yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Great motivational moment there. Let's jump back into my question though.
Okay.
Are you a 50-50 or 100%? I can't say lover, because lover sounds like, sounds like what you do after the club. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter or whatever. I don't know how that plays out. But anyway, that are you okay, or are you are you okay with being in a relationship that is a 50-50 relationship or a 100% relationship? And I guess I should probably define. So 50-50 is like, everybody's kind of has a vote, and I think that's fair. So everybody has a vote. Everybody's voice is the same in that relationship. Or are you in a space where you talked about being led by a man? Are you in a space where you're ready to just be, I'm going to put my hands down, I'm going to just go with whatever you say?
No, I think that
that was quick.
I think that every relationship should be 100.
That's what's up.
I think that I should give 100%. I think he should give 100%. I don't think that I think both of our voices should be valuable in the relationship. But if I'm only going to give half of myself to you, then I just need to be with somebody else. But I need to be willing to give 100%. I need to be willing to totally, 100% surrender my love and my time, my energy, my patience, everything, to the relationship. And I'm not saying now, because some people can misinterpret this, but I'm not saying you should give and he's not giving. I'm saying that he should be giving 100% as well as you giving 100%. He should be giving all of his energy, his time, his efforts, everything so that you all can build together, build life together, build businesses together, whatever you desire to build together. So I think it's important that it's 100% on both ends. I don't want half of nothing.
The mic, you just dropped the mic.
I dropped the mic.
Dropped the mic.
Boom.
On that one. But now, so there are times when you have a disagreement.
Absolutely.
And when you're kind of loggerheads, you're just like I'm not going with what you say. You're not going. I mean, is there like okay, you know what? I'm in this with you, and I'm going to go with what you say because I'm in this with you. Do you believe that you ever get to that point where somebody has the final say?
I think there are moments where you have to learn to compromise, and you have to learn to say, okay, I'm going to let you have that one, because I think, and we talked about having a man leading and head. And so I think one of the biblical principles that I just always go by and is he that finds a wife finds a good thing. That's what the word of God says. And so I always think that, and then it talks about a man being head and leading the family. And so I think that for me, because I'm traditional in that sense, I do want a man to lead and to guide and to direct. And so in certain instances, I think I would say, okay, babe, I trust that you have factored in everything, and that you understand the direction that you are leading our family into. However, I would always 110%, I would support my husband in what he desires. But if it's something that I know is crazy and is not in his character, in my moral compass, I would definitely say, hey babe, well, why don't you think about it like this? You know, why don't we try to do this and find a compromise? But I think in some instances, you know, it's like, okay, you know, and I think even for the husband, he should, you know, with certain things that, you know, that maybe I have more knowledge about. Okay, babe, you got that.
That's right.
You know, or
I agree.
So it's compromise.
Mm-hmm. Do you only communicate with men that you're interested in being in a relationship with?
No. I mean,
Wait a minute, you paused for just a little second. Maybe you were trying to figure out what I was asking.
Yeah, can you explain?
And then you said, I mean. Like, you said, no, then I mean. That's kind of like a no, now I'm backpedaling. You know, when you think about your Rolodex of men that you communicate with, is it that you, and I'm asking this question because it was asked of me when I was in college. A woman cornered me in my dormitory.
All right.
And said, are you, and her question was a little bit different, but she said, do you only communicate, or do you only hang out with people that you want to, you know, have a physical relationship with? I'll keep it PC. And I thought about it for a second. I said, what an awful thing to say yes to. And I have to admit, I was not honest at that moment. But I was honest at that moment in the sense that at that moment I changed. Because I got a chance to look at myself very quickly when she asked me that question. I looked at myself and I was like, that is awful. No, that is not the only people that I establish relationships with. So I ask you a question. Now that I've defined it as awful, and I ask you that same question. You know, are you only interested in kind of communicating with, hanging out with, being friends with men that where the opportunity or the potential is there for you to be in a relationship with?
No.
No? Okay.
I think that I like people. I like to, you know, meet different kinds of people and have friendships with different kinds of people. So I wouldn't say that I only communicate with men that I'm, you know, that I see potential in dating. No, absolutely not.
What about this? You know,
I think that there are boundaries.
Sure. Speaking of boundaries, what about the boundaries of your exes? What are those boundaries? You know, is it cool for you to, let's say, the first thing that comes to mind is, you know, to take a swim class with your ex?
Why is that the first thing that comes to you?
Because there was a recent conversation where I had to use that. But I mean, is that okay for you to take a swim class with your ex? You know, be like, hey, I'm going out with Bob. You mean Bob, your ex? Yeah, we're going to the swim. You know, I've been taking the swim class for the last 15 years, and we take this class. I mean, do you, and if you see yourself on the other side, you know, I'm taking this swim class with Mary or whoever, and how, you know, is that acceptable? How do you feel about that?
I think that like we said, boundaries.
Yeah.
No, I do not want you taking a swim class with Mary, your friend Mary. And, you know, I'm sure you don't want me taking a swim class with Bob.
Right.
So.
Right. Now, what about, you have a child, I have children. Mm-hmm. What about the boundaries with regard to your ex in that space? Are you, you know, obviously, you know, depending on the relationship, the you know, your ex has access to and interacts with, and maybe this question might not be appropriate, but let's just do it in general. Do you think a person, you know, has to be prepared to actually be in a relationship with not just the woman that he's interested in, but actually now the woman and the child's father, or the children's fathers? Sometimes it ends up being that way. You have to be prepared to be in all of that, because those fathers are going to impact those children as they grow up, and they're going to tell them what they want, and they're going to give them experiences that, you know, this father who's not the father, the stepfather, if you will, is going to have to juggle and figure out, in their interaction with the children and with the mother, because the mother is like, but we didn't raise her that way. I think of me being a vegan, and so I'm always telling people, well, you would want to be vegan, right? And that's probably the best way to maintain health inside the body, and you would want that for your children, right? Yeah, but that's our children in the sense that me and Bob, we gave birth to those children, so I have to ask him about that. How does that work? What role or what boundaries are set there, and what role do you think is a healthy one for a parent that doesn't live with a child to play in that family situation?
That's a great question. I think that anytime you enter into a relationship, you have to factor in what comes with the relationship, what comes with that person. What are some things that they already have? So they already have a child. So you already know that they, that unless the parent is deceased, that there's another person involved in that child's life. So I think that it's really important that the new person that is with you does have, and they don't need to be best friends, but does have some kind of cordial relationship and understanding with the child's parent. And I think that's really important, just so that the child can have a cohesive environment between the parents. And I think that it's really important that there be a healthy relationship, some kind of understanding with the new person that is the spouse of the child's mother or father, and with the child's parent outside of the household. And that's so important, because I think that we think it cannot work. And the issue a lot of times is that we're still trying to hold on to something that's old, that's dead, and that died. So you're still holding on to that past relationship. So you're thinking about things that happened 5, 10, 20 years ago, and that has nothing to do with anything. This has to do with your child and their best interests at heart. So I think that's really important. And when it comes to decisions, I think that in the household, and this is something that I'm sure I'll deal with it at some point. I think in the household, whatever daddy who's in the household, whether he's your stepdad, I think that what he says goes in that household, period. He is raising you in the household. However, you always have to take in consideration, into account, mom or dad outside of the household, and what the two parents who got together and had these children decided that they were going to do with their children. If it's a vegan lifestyle, then that needs to be what it is. If it's whatever, but I think that you can't. It's a balance. You can't make the step parent feel like they don't have any kind of input in raising you all's child, because it's their child too, and they're raising them along with you. So I think that it needs to be a collaborative effort, and all parties and all parents involved helping to raise the child.
That's what's up. And I think that's a great point for us to close out on. I've got a bunch of other questions I'd love to ask, but I think what we're going to do going forward is we're going to expand this conversation, maybe bring some other voices in so that they can weigh in this conversation as well. We know that there are dissenting views. We know that we disagree on many subject matters out there, obviously, because we're not having the kind of successes. So we want to bring in some other audience and some other participants into this conversation. Again, this has been the Dr. Baruch Show with Christa, and we are talking about health always. In this show, we were talking about healthy relationships and how that affects your health, and how important it is to have a healthy relationship. It's been a great show. I want to thank you for coming on once again.
Thank you for having me, Doc.
Yes, you're quite welcome. And look forward to you next Tuesday, where we'll be talking to, I think I already have it lined up. But in the meantime, I will post it on Facebook for those of you who are so inclined, or one of our other social media platforms, so that you all can know where we're going with our show next week. Christa, you have a wonderful week, and I will see you in 7 days.
All right. See you soon.
Thank you, and thank you to our listeners and our viewers. This is the Dr. Baruch Show with Christa, and this is the E-Life Media Network. Stay tuned. We've got some more really good programming for you. And don't forget, one of the Braxton sisters is going to be here tonight. I'm not telling you which one, but she's going to be here. They're all hot, so you won't go wrong. And also, Rare Essence is going to be in the studio talking about their CD release that has just taken place, or is taking place right through here. They're going to be talking about their music and where they're going with their music. Until then, have a wonderful rest of the day. You'll see me tomorrow at 11 o'clock for the Not On My Watch show. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.